Hello my dear friends, welcome to Shadow Channel. Thank you for choosing this video. We are with you today with another scary and fascinating story. If you are interested in such stories, subscribe to the channel. Please stay with us until the end of the video. The Jackal-Skin rug. My name is Moharram. After my father, Molla Hassan, a highly respected rug dealer in the old Tehran bazaar, passed away, the shop and all its contents became mine. Though my father had left behind a good name, I knew little about the trade, so I kept his sharp apprentice Murad to teach me the ropes. The discovery and the warning. One day while Murad was fetching tea, I decided to explore the rugs hidden deep in the back of the shop. I was looking through them when my eye caught a small rug. It was unusually light and unlike any other carpet I had ever seen. I unrolled it. The pattern was bizarre. Two eyes stared out from the weave, surrounded by a strange motif of fire, all set against a black background. Just then, a peculiar tall man entered the shop. He wore a heavy felt hat and a long coat despite the searing heat, a detail that struck me as deeply odd. He asked if I was Molla Hassan's son. Before I could offer him any of the large, expensive carpets, he stopped me. He said he wanted a small rug, one made of jackal-skin with two eyes and a black background. I was stunned. How did he know exactly what I had just discovered? He laughed and claimed the rug was his, left with my father as an amanat, a trust, and he had returned to take it. I refused to hand over what I believed to be a valuable item without proof. He looked at me with chilling certainty. "The rug will not be of any use to you. It will only bring you misfortune," he warned. He insisted that only he could take it. "If I leave now, I won't return until this time next year. If you regret this, it is not my concern," he stated, his words heavy with threat. He added a final, terrifying prophecy. "Understand, young man, only I can take that rug. If I leave, you won't be able to get rid of it yourself. Wherever you go, it will follow you." He walked out. Murad returned immediately, holding 2 teas, but claimed he hadn't seen any man in a long coat leave the empty street. The descent into nightmare. That night I had my first terrifying dream. I saw several jackals entering the shop and carrying off the carpets. I woke up soaked in sweat. The next morning I arrived at the bazaar to find a crowd gathered. Murad, distraught, told me the shop had been robbed overnight and 10 or 12 rugs were gone. The dream had come true. I rushed inside, and the first thing I checked was the small, sinister rug. It was still there, untouched. That night the dreams intensified. I saw a massive jackal, and fire poured from its body as it moved through the shop, setting my inventory ablaze. The next day, the smell of smoke filled the bazaar. My shop was engulfed in flames. Despite the efforts of neighbors to douse the fire, 7 or 8 rugs were destroyed. I raced to the back where the mysterious rug had been stored among the burnt goods. I pulled it out. It was perfectly safe and sound. More disturbingly, the small rug was hot to the touch, as if the woven pattern of fire on it had been real. I was beginning to believe the ominous man had spoken the truth. A few days after reopening, I had a third dream. A huge jackal emerged from the pile of carpets and began eating them. The next morning, the nightmare manifested again. A customer wanted to see some large carpets. When Murad unrolled them, we were paralyzed with shock. 13 of the best rugs were completely ruined, rotted away as if eaten by mice. This disaster had occurred in a single week. Driven by fury and fear, I grabbed the small rug. It was intensely hot, and I had no doubt that all the calamity was originating from this damned piece of fabric. The price of possession. I ran to the end of the bazaar and threw the rug into the garbage heap. I even covered it with stones and bricks. I went home, confessed everything to my wife, and we sacrificed a black rooster, hoping to ward off the curse. But the evil followed me home. That night I had the worst nightmare yet. Jackals with long teeth surrounded my youngest son, Saeed, and were eating him. In the morning, Saeed's face was blue and he struggled to breathe. We rushed him to the hospital where he barely survived. Still, I could not rid myself of the terror. The next day, I was cutting carpet for a customer when I spotted the Jackal-Skin rug hidden among the carpet rolls. I had thrown it into the dumpster myself. I carried it back to the garbage heap, piling bricks on top. But moments later, I saw it lying in the corner of my shop again. Realizing this was not a normal object, I grabbed kerosene. "It's none of your business. Just tell me where the kerosene is," I shouted at Murad. The rug and set it on fire, watching it burn until I was certain it was nothing but ash. I returned to the hospital, but a strange unease about Murad forced me back to the shop. I found him lying on the floor. He was barely conscious, claiming he had been attacked by an animal, a jackal. I looked around, and there in the corner was the small rug, completely intact despite having watched it burn to nothing. I remembered the man's terrifying words, "You will never get rid of it. Wherever you go, it will follow you." The reversal. A year passed, a year of relentless suffering. I was ruined. I had a stroke and lost the use of an arm, my wife went insane from stress, and my son, Saeed, died from an unknown illness. I sold the shop. I went to retrieve my final items, and the cursed rug was still there. Just then, the strange man reappeared. I lunged at him, blaming him for my ruin. He calmly pushed me away. "You are the only one to blame. I told you this rug would bring you misfortune, but you were greedy," he said. I wept, begging him to tell me what this damned thing was. He sat down and revealed the truth. That rug is made from the skin of a jinn who took the form of a jackal. He explained that an Omani merchant had gifted it to my father, and while my father lived, it brought him blessing. "I am the only one who can take it because that jackal is of my own kind," he concluded. I realized he was confessing to being a jinn himself. I asked him to take the rug and get it out of my sight. He picked it up and told me to value my life. "What life?" I retorted bitterly. "I have lost everything." He simply smiled, said, "You are mistaken," and walked out of the shop. I watched him go. Then Murad entered, offering me tea. I looked around. Everything was exactly as it had been on the day I inherited the shop. The rugs were perfect. My wife and my 2 sons, Saeed was alive, walked in. My wife asked me to buy dates for the 40th day ceremony of my father. I was disoriented. The 40th day? It's been over a year since my father died. She thought I had a fever. The world had reverted. It was as if a year of calamity, the death of my son, my illness, my wife's madness, and the ruin of my shop, had never happened. When the jinn took the rug, everything returned to its previous state. To this day, I do not know if those terrible events were real or merely a waking dream. The small jackal-skin rug was like a malignant parasite. While it was attached to the host, Moharram, it systematically poisoned his reality, consuming his blessings and replacing them with loss and suffering. Once removed by the entity that understood its true nature, the jinn, the host's life was miraculously reset, purging the year-long infection. Okay, my dear friends, it was a strange supernatural experience. If you like this type of stories, subscribe to the Ominous Shadow channel to be informed about the next videos. Thank you if you like the story, and leave your opinion about today's story in the comments. Until the next video and another scary experience, goodbye.